Actually, the statistics show that it's more women who get to depression, but more men die by suicide. What's the reason? Women have a lot of opportunities to vent and get help, but men have little. Secondly, men, when they are hit, it goes to the extreme, and even when in terms of attempting suicide, they use very extreme and lethal methods.
Yes.
Men like solutions. Men look for a final solution.
Yeah, which is so bad.
Yes, yes. Guys, we're back again. I know you've missed us, and we are having a wonderful discussion today about something that is affecting the society. And before we go further, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Zola.
They know me, I'm Chim.
And the expert in the room, please say who you are.
My name is Isaac Maweu. People call me Isaac the Great. So if you're looking for Isaac Newton or Isaac, the son of Abraham that Christian and Muslims talk about, the third great Isaac that you should look for is Isaac Maweu. Welcome to this show.
And who are you?
I'm a counseling psychologist, I'm a life coach, I'm a corporate trainer. This is what I do Monday to Sunday, January to December, for the last 6 years. By the way, for your information, I retired from engineering at a very young age.
Wow.
Switched profession, went back to class to do counseling psychology, and this is what I do. To me, this is a calling, this is my profession, this is my purpose, this is my passion.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
That was a powerful introduction. That was powerful.
And guys, the reason you brought such a heavy hitter to this show is because you're speaking about something very sensitive, something very heavy, something that is affecting our society right now. And that is mental health, depression among men, which is something that I think is most people hide away from talking about it. And I believe we need to speak about it right now. Right now, there's like a wave of men taking their own lives, and it's very sad. And we need to speak about it and find out why it's happening and what we can do to deal with that situation. So the first question we're going to talk about is define depression. And for the sake of this show, I'll speak, Chim will speak, then the expert will give his side of things. So I'll define it from my point of view. It is being in a place where you feel like there's no hope in the world. You don't want to sleep, you don't want to wake up. And unlike other people who say it's only mental, I believe there's also a spiritual component to it. But when I had it, it was just no hope in my life. Chim, you can...
I'd actually just read the definition. Director will share the screen grab here. Essentially, depression is a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest. It's also called major depressive disorder or clinical depression.
Very true. Actually, what you just said is the actual definition. Generally, the aspect of you being stressed for a longer time, and this stress now escalates to depression, affecting your mood to the extent that you have several symptoms as we'll be looking at. So it's a mood disorder. Yeah.
I'll add on to that. Okay, you guys have given that. When I went through it, there was nothing stressing me. So mine just happened to like a flip of the switch. There's nothing affecting me. One day I was okay, the next day I was depressed.
You mean nothing constant?
Nothing external. One day I was okay, nothing changed in my life.
That's unique.
Nothing changed in my life. That's why I said there's a spiritual component in it. Maybe I'm unique in that, but for me, nothing changed.
If you reflect, I don't know whether you're able to reflect on what was happening either for a period of time and you are not aware. For example, I don't know what you'll be doing, but I'm trying to imagine maybe what you call vicarious trauma.
Okay.
Depending on the nature of your work, slowly by slowly, things start pushing you. For example, if you are a medic, you are dealing with a lot of secondary trauma. Maybe if you are a police officer, or maybe you are a journalist. So there's a lot of pressure to you. So you may not notice, but all of a sudden something just eats you and you are there. Yeah.
That time, there was nothing that happened. I'd begun a new course. In fact, it was a good time for me. I'd been out of university. I'd been out of school for some time. I'd not been able to go to school. I got the funds and I went back. I went to the course I wanted to do. I was doing culinary arts. So I was in a new place. Finances were there. I was in a good school. Nothing had changed as in crazily. In fact, everything had gone up very well for me.
Yeah. By the way, even there is what we call like kind of an achievement depression.
Okay.
Someone who has been in a vigorous exercise of doing their deep masters or their PhD, immediately they graduate, they get to a certain phase of depression, wondering what next.
Okay.
So maybe the moment that you got to this high level of your study in a new field, in a new environment, and everything is there, to you now beginning that journey, maybe could be the issue. But anyway, let's keep discussion going.
Okay. Even that leads to the question of what might cause depression. We've already said what I had experienced to give me a perspective, but I'll say, I believe there's also a spiritual aspect that people might not speak about, not just mental and physical and otherwise. It's also a spiritual aspect that people may not think about. That's what I think. So, Chime might say, what do you think?
For me, when I think of depression, I think of causes like, drug abuse, alcoholism, bangi, what else? I think if you have a boss who is just absolute garbage tier, then that can cause depression. I know I've been in a situation where I had a very, very trash series of bosses, at least one the next level above, absolute garbage. And because of being singled out, it did push me to a point where, you wake up every morning, you're thinking, I have to go to work to deal with these human garbage. That is a concern, yeah? Outside of that, causes of depression, I guess we'll come to another one, which I was telling you about. Could be, as a man, it's a hormonal imbalance, yeah? When your testosterone crashes. Those are the causes of... there are guys who get depressed over relationships. Your relationship is going badly. You decide, even you now, you're depressed. That one I get. Things like those, yeah, would affect, if you ask me, those are the things that affect men. Going broke when your business is going bad. I know I have, 2021, I actually experienced investing in a business and seeing it just fall to papers. And it's like, that one is tough. Yeah, those are the things I think would cause depression.
Well, actually, what he's talking about, the issue of economic stress. When things like currently, when you're talking about all these cases, people are going through a lot of economic stress. And the fact that in Africa, men are looked at providers. So the moment that you are pushed to provide and you're not able to provide, that's a cause of stress. And now this stress escalates, especially when you're not able to provide and people are looking at you and say, what kind of a person are you? I'm not able to do this. So that pressure to a great extent now will lead to depression. I went through depression between April 2017 to almost June, July. That time I lost my job in an hotel industry. And that's how I switched. I had just graduated with my degree in counseling psychology, but I was working as a duty engineer in an hotel in Nairobi. And things happened, things went south. I was wrongfully terminated. Well, I filed a case, I won the case, but that period, honestly speaking, it was the worst moment of my life. I would get out of my house, go to Urpark, and stay in that field as if pretending that I've gone to work. But it was such a stressful moment. So to me, loss of a job, loss of a business, and a relationship that has gone south, any kind of a loss can cause depression. Toxic environment, like he's talking about work, will cause depression. There are also, of course, other aspects like now, terminal illnesses. Like now, when he talks about, he's talking about maybe a sickness like cancer. Maybe somebody has also been diagnosed with maybe blood pressure and diabetes and all that. And this is affecting their body. So anything that is affecting your normal way of life, whether it's socially, economically, even spiritually, as you are talking about issues, spiritual causes, then that is a cause of alarm. And if it's not managed, or you don't have the resilience, the muscles to be able to bounce back, then this would be a great cause of alarm that may lead to depression.
Like for me,
Something else I was thinking about is even when you're married, and you're married to a cantankerous woman, that constant nagging, it can cause you, that one kwanza will cause depression quick, fast.
even I have to add something. The reason why I'm specifying that spiritual aspect is there are many people who have everything going on in their lives.
Yes.
I had that. And even when you've told me go back and reflect, I've done that. And nothing changed. Even when you're saying it's a good thing and all that, one day was okay, one day was not okay. I believe there are people who might have that one. And I believe that one is not spoken about a lot. I don't know, it's like a flip of the switch where it's not, nothing has changed in your life. Everything is going well. And I think that's something people also have to deal with. You get me?
Yes.
You have said spiritual. I like that you have actually, you might have seen that in your career where you see people, everything is going well, but they're just depressed. They have no idea why.
And I'm also thinking, could there be also an aspect of course, there's the depressive phase in bipolar. Of course, bipolar is totally different mental disorder where you have both sides.
Yes.
Manic
There's the manic phase,
Yes.
and there is now the excitement part.
Yes.
So when you are in that depressive phase, that is depressive phase in bipolar, not depression per se. But then there is excitement where you have all the energy, the ability to talk, you are giving a lot of information.
Okay.
Anyway, but back to the point, when you are talking about spiritual, I'm also looking at the aspect of maybe some guilt within yourself and feeling like it's like you have wronged God or whatever you believe in. And that, of course, is a cause of concern. And even feeling like God has left you or whatever issues that you could be having. And even questioning your spirituality. So all this has a lot to contribute to our mental wellness, especially now depression.
I'll not belabor that point.
All right.
I get what you've said. I think we can go to the next one.
Yes.
Like what are some of the signs of depression?
Wow.
Yeah.
So changes in sleep pattern, either insomnia, that is too little, or hypersomnia, that is too much sleep. Change in appetite, either you are not eating or you are eating too much. Number 3 is mood, where like now irritability, hopelessness. There is also feeling like not worth. There's an issue with withdrawing from people. There's an issue, some people may even get into too much drinking just to cover up whatever they are drinking. Some weird change in terms of behavior. There's also aspect of loss of interest in the things that you like doing. Maybe you are a fan of football or whatever. You go out there and you're not interested anymore. Sometimes also people will lose even interest in sex. So there are several symptoms, and when you notice these, then you're able to pick what is happening. Even when we are doing what we call diagnosis, we say if you have 6 of these symptoms persistent or continued for more than 2 weeks, then that you have depression. We just need to have the tool like we use. For example, I like using BDI, which is a tool we use just to see at what level are you in. But you already have the 6 symptoms for more than 2 weeks. So the next thing just to assess and say, yes, this is either clinical depression, moderate depression, severe or extreme depression.
I thought clinical was the worst.
You start with mild mood disturbance, which is normal. If you have to take like the BDI scoring from 0 to 10, then 10 to 16. So when we have clinical, this is not too much. It shows that the body is slowly getting depressed. Then you get to moderate depression. Yet you are depressed, but it's moderate. Now when you go to the severe and extreme, then you are at a higher level. Like myself being a psychologist, most of the time I deal with moderate. When somebody is severe and extreme, there's need for a review by a psychiatrist and medication is needed. Now this time round, you engage a psychiatrist now to work hand in hand. But we'll be talking about that as we continue.
Yeah, like for me, when I got it, I don't know where this will fit. I got that flip switch. I got that depression, and I had suicidal ideation, and I never had it in my life. I'll go to a balcony, and if it's high, I think of throwing myself over.
For the sake of Google, let's call it self-deletion.
Yeah.
Let's not use
Yeah.
insight.
Yeah.
Self-deletion.
Yeah. I'll think of doing that. I'll not even give out ideas, but every place I went, if there was something that could and myself, it was there. Is that extreme or that is still moderate?
That is one of the symptoms
Yeah.
or the issues that may be seen. Because, for example, if you are using that tool, we call BDI, it has 21 questions.
Okay.
And in these 21 questions, each of the questions has rating. Either you score 0, you score 1, or
Okay.
2, or 3.
Okay.
So, for example, when you are talking about that aspect of the suicide,
Yeah.
If somebody may say, I don't have suicidal thoughts, somebody may say, I have suicidal thoughts, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
Others may say, I have suicidal thoughts, but I don't know how and when.
Yeah.
And then you can see, I have suicidal thoughts at any time. Even there's something we call suicide intent scale.
Yeah.
So we also used to do that assessment. So in all this, there are levels that we use.
Okay.
So when we do that assessment, we can be able to tell this is the level at which this person is in, and the need for urgent intervention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you have something to add?
No, I'm waiting till when we start discussing deletion, ideation. Because for me, that's now where I'll really chip in. I don't really have experience with
Science.
depression. I don't really have experience with ideation. Mine has only been in the instance where I was dealing with a specific boss who was just
Trash.
a shittier human being. And once I was out of that space,
You're
even
okay.
over the weekend, I'd be fine. And then when I have to go back to the office, I have problems.
I think
again.
Amy said it's moderate, that mild mood one.
Yeah, mine was just mild mood, sort of. I don't really have much experience here.
And as you can hear, he is aware of the cause of the problem.
Yeah.
Because one of the key things when you are dealing with any kind of sickness
Yeah.
is your level of awareness. Are you aware of what is the cause of your distress?
Yes.
So if it is a working environment, then we work towards that and see how can we either change the work environment, or how can you change your attitude, or how do you learn to cope with the situation?
I like those answers.
Yes.
So the next topic will be why are men more susceptible to depression? Let's give out a quick answer. I think because we don't talk a lot. We tend to keep things to ourselves because we are scared if we share something that's going on, we look weak. That is my mindset. Chin?
I'd say, from what I've seen the guys I've dealt with who are depressed, I'd say you're right on a level. The need to keep everything to yourself. You're not meant to keep everything to yourself. But you see, the problem with modern society is we don't teach men how to be men. One of the factors of teaching men how to be men is how to have a band of brothers, which was part of why we used to do the whole age group. You're getting, you had men, or at that time boys, as you transition, ukiwa na shida unaongelesha mtu namwambia we got circumcised with you, acha nikwambie hizi shida. You're getting squeezy. We don't have that. That's number one. Number two, another problem why men usually have a lot of that ideation is, honestly speaking, I feel it's largely when something is out of your control. If you feel to a large extent I can control the outcome of this, then you're able to say I'll soldier on. So for example, economy ichape venye saa imechapa, biashara ianguke. You look around, like we were saying earlier, you look around, unaangalia news, what are they discussing on news? Other businesses zimeanguka. So you look around now, you feel powerless. Sa mtu anaanza kuona hapa hata siwezi jisaidia. But pia there are some weak men, maze. Guys, let's not tusidanganyane. There are some weak men. There's a man out there right now. There's a story in media right now. Mtu alikuwa amependa. Yeah? So akaambia dem, lady, let's go out for Valentine's, be my woman. The woman said no. The guy decides, you know what? Mi naji. In Kiswahili mnasema kujitia? Kitanzi. Hey, that is mental weakness also. And that is a factor. Hivyo ndio mimi naona.
So I may differ with you, but we may not have a lot of discussion about that. To me, I don't look at it as a weakness, maybe a challenge that this person was not able to deal with. And of course, for lack of a better word, I think those who he tried, because I was really concerned when in the write-up he says that he had consulted 17 people, and I was wondering, how can, out of 17, no one was able, even if at least, to refer to an expert like myself. But anyway, going back to the topic, talk about the issue of why more men.
Yeah.
Actually, the statistics show that it's more women who get to depression, but more men die by suicide. What is the reason? women have a lot of opportunities to vent and get help, but men have little. Secondly, men, when they are hit, it goes to the extreme, and even when in terms of attempting suicide, they use very extreme and lethal methods.
Yes.
And
They-
men
all
make
of them-
solutions. Men look for a final solution.
Yeah, which is so bad.
Yes, yes.
For women, they may try something that is not very heavy.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, for men, they will use
Yes.
serious things that will really mess them up.
Yes.
So to me, that is critical. But now going to the pressures, we are looking about the issue of one, there is the aspect of the societal pressure.
And those gunshots.
Number two, there is also the aspect of our way of approaching things are different
Yeah.
from women. And even looking at therapy, very few men compared to women will go for therapy.
Yeah.
I'm a therapist. I've served in different institutions in terms of hospital, counseling centers, in school. I've done a research, and even currently I'm working on what models can help men.
Yeah.
Because it seems that the models that are having are not helping men.
Yeah.
Because we are having more men dying by suicide. Actually, it's interesting. I think if the statistics should if my mind serves me right, we have about 80% of people die by suicide are men. When you go to prisons, almost 70 to 80% of the people in prison are men. When you go to rehabs, almost the same statistics. We have more men there. Even when you go talk of what you call mortality and mobility reporting, that is a language used in the medical setup, in terms of how many people have died. We have more men dying. Even during COVID, how many men were affected? More men were affected by the women. So there's a lot of pressure for men. They are more exposed to more challenges. At the end of the day, there are little spaces for them. And therefore, we are creating actually. That's why even this is a very good show where men are getting an opportunity to listen to their very own and say it is okay, by the way, to find help or go to a place that we can chat with other men and say, okay, guy, I'm not doing well, but I need help.
But let me tell you, when we are discussing that, another main reason why men don't usually seek the help that, let's say, from psychologists, I will not lie to you. There is no way, personally, I'm going to sit down with a female psychologist because she does not understand my worldview as a man.
hear you.
And you have no idea how difficult it was to get you.
Yes.
We were looking for a male psychologist because for me, I believe I need someone who understands what it means to be a man.
Yes.
For me to sit down and express to you
Yes.
what is happening with me. You understand?
Yes.
You have no idea how difficult it was to get you.
Interesting. And actually, besides being a therapist, I train counselors. I remember in a certain institution that I was training, in a class of about 40, 60 students, you'll get only 3 men. So, well, the society has made this like therapy is for women and it has to be done by women. But now let them be aware that there are few of us who are in this field. And as I said, maybe off the show, actually, I think even during the show, that I left engineering and came to this field of counseling because of their passion. It's a calling. And I'm looking at what is happening. Currently, I'm doing a research and see how we can help men. So it's good that people are aware now that you can go to another man, so somebody who can identify, realize that when this person says, I am going through hell, they know what they are saying. They are going through a lot and they cannot open up to another woman because the person, they may not identify with this person. Good.
You know, I have to, just one more thing, and I don't know if this is weakness. When I went I was depressed for 2 years. One of the reasons I did not tell my family is because I did not want them to be worried. I don't know if that's the reason, but I did not tell them because I did not want anyone to be worried about me. Because if I tell you this person I'm depressed and I have thoughts of ending my life, someone might be worried about me constantly. That was maybe it's a silly fear, but that's
how you're designed as a man. Like,
that's a silly
as a man,
fear.
you're not comfortable with other people being worried about you. It's because you know you're the one who's supposed to be carrying up the burdens of your family. You're the one who's supposed to be the solution. People have a problem, they come to you. For most men, ni ngumu sana mwanaume aende ambie, for example, your mother, your sister, you tell them, I'm going through this.
You know, I actually told my mom after it ended.
Yeah. After you found a solution.
Yes.
You see, we have been wired. There is a program in the default setting. And you'll hear even women tell you, man akwana. What kind of a man are you? So we have been programmed for years not to show weakness. So when you talk about it, people is like, Hey, guy, is that an issue to what kind of a man? You need to grow up. You need to. So it is already a program.
Yes.
And even when you cry, which is therapeutic, which is a good thing, say, what kind of a man are you? Are you crying? For women, they will cry. They will have what we call emotional catharsis, emotional ventilation, which is catharsis. They will vent. They will talk. They will yell. At the end of the day, they will have been in a better position. So men are looked as weak when they have that space to share.
And even the next topic, because I think you've addressed, but just you might go deeper into if you want. Why are men more likely to action suicidal ideation? I think you're touching on it a bit.
Why men will go to suicidal ideation?
Yes, why are they more likely to action it? Because you said more
we
women
look for
are
solutions.
Yes, more women are depressed. That's my
We have
friend.
a problem, we look for solutions.
Yeah, of
Why
course.
women wasn't more fatal, more hardcore with it? You've said women go for the softer ones, the men go for the final solution like Hitler. You say
You see,
that.
men achievement are result oriented.
Yes.
Men take one line until they succeed. So if they have tried this, it doesn't work. So cross chapter. Let me move the next one.
Yeah.
And that next one is not a good one.
Yeah.
So yes, we have more women depressed, but more men get to the extreme and get to suicide. So the idea is we have very little opportunities to vent. Women will go to salon, make stories. They will even vent to their husbands, their boyfriends, and all that. But that man has no space to vent. Even when they go to their fellow men and say, "Guy, what is that?" That's a small issue. That's a non-issue. And then somebody would go there and just bolt it up. So the fact that we have little space to talk about, and the society makes us not to talk about it, then we get to the extreme. And of course, now when it comes to lethal methods in terms of suicide, men always go for real things.
Yeah.
They will not take rat and stuff. They will go for serious method I will not mention because we are trying to prevent that.
Yes,
We don't mention methods.
Yes.
So we will look at this and you will find a very crazy thing. And this is just too much.
I get Tim, I think he has given and some of your
Me, what I wanted to ask is, honestly speaking, why is it, I don't know if we are going to address this later, we are supposed to address it later, but why is it, Zola, that you'll find kuna mtu yani alikuwa tu anacheka na sisi sahi, akaenda home vizuri, akajitia kitanzi. As in, for some guys there is no warning.
And
Like
guys,
you're saying,
guys,
it's just,
is that, do you address those gunshots or that's gunshots or that's
I don't know, it
crackers?
might be firecrackers. I'm guessing it's firecrackers. Where we are, bro,
We're not
can't be
sure. So
gunshots.
guys just know that's what's going on. We don't know.
We're uptown, bro. It can't be gunshots. It's firecrackers.
Firecrackers,
Anyway,
yeah.
I'm just saying, I hope, because, you know, I hope. It's not the ghetto. But yeah, as in, why is it, when you're Nasema, sometimes for a man, from what I know, when I talk to guys, when I talk to people, I know one or two guys who are related, guys who ended themselves. And mtu atakwambia, yani, ilitoka tu out of the blue. There's one who told me, utapata, when he decided it was time, mtu akapatiana, he gave out his property, and then the next morning, that was that.
You see, actually, there is a process to suicide. There are stages. So this person, number one, must have been going through a problem. And they looked for a solution they could not find. Then they moved to the next stage. Start looking at what is the solution. You see, at that time when you are depressed, and especially on the extreme, the decision-making part of the brain is impaired. And therefore, the brain tells you that now this is the end of it. Actually, to escape this situation, then run to this side. So now they start even planning, because you don't just execute it out of a planning. They always have a plan. So there are several symptoms that will be shown by this person. Unfortunately, we are in a world where we are too busy with our own business and we are stressed by our own issues that we cannot pick these things. Because if you see somebody, maybe for example, now these are some of the things that we need to pick, because suicide, we say suicide is preventable. Depression is treatable. So talking about issues of,
depression is treatable.
It is treatable. Suicide is preventable.
I like that.
Because
I like that.
honestly speaking, if we can be able to pick the symptoms and intervene immediately, things will be sorted. So things like when you see someone giving, like writing their will and saying you will be better, people better without me, they will be now organizing parties, and you wonder, how come that this guy is so philanthropic? And that is not in nature. Something is not okay. Or you see this person maybe saying, okay, guys, this is my ATM card, this is my PIN, or that kind of things, or extreme behavior like driving so crazy than normal, maybe drinking too much than he was doing. There are several things, and if someone is keen and saying, something's not okay.
In essence, going out of your habit.
Yes.
You behave normal.
Yes,
Normal pattern.
You break
exactly.
character.
You're not in your normal pattern. So if somebody can pick immediately that and engage this person, they'll be okay. And you'll see, even I remember a case of somebody who was at a celebration. I think it was even in the news, a university student guy who was organized a party. I said, guys, this is my final party with you, and people could not get what he's saying. He's saying goodbye, but people cannot pick that. So those are some of the things that if we can pick and intervene immediately, we can be able to do this.
Be keen about the
Be
people.
keen.
Yes.
I think one of the things that I feel we need to do as now therapists is to train as many people in the society to offer what we call PFS, psychological fasting, which you don't need to be a professional to offer that. So when somebody, you pick these symptoms, first of all, is to engage this person in an activity that making this person now to lose track of that. Or maybe, guy, let's go and watch football. Hey, guy, you know what? Arsenal and Liverpool are playing, and say, I don't have interest on that. Why? And you used to be a fan of this.
Yes.
So you're picking something. So the moment you distract this person from that, then you engage, okay, what could be happening? Oh, things have not been tough, but I'll be okay. What are you doing to be okay? So you're engaging this person in a discussion to move this problem from where they are. Say, okay, have you talked to so-and-so? No, I tried and I've given up. No, today I've just decided, let it be. There is something that is happening. And of course, now linking this person to a professional. So it is a journey before someone gets now to suicide.
Understood.
Yeah.
And then I'll move to, because we want to keep this thing very tight. Why does it seem like depression has gotten much worse the past few years?
Well, there are several things that are happening. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. One, if you look at the statistics, every time we have a challenge in the political arena, when we have what we call political stress and economic challenges, it is a cause of stress. If you can look at the statistics, every year that things are good, things goes down. Even look at it, for example, during the late Kibaki's time. Immediately after Kibaki got to power, Kenya was voted as the most optimistic country in the world. If you look at the statistics that time, depression, suicide was down. When things went so high, currently people are having a lot of stress because somebody's imagining, no one is helping me. I was just looking at having a discussion with other professionals before I came to this show. And we're looking at how nowadays for us now we are getting to something we call registration with the new board of counselors and psychologists. There's licensing and this extreme cost on our profession. Then we're asking now, how are we going to survive? We have transferred this to clients. And we're saying the report done by Dr. Njenga during President Uru's time on mental health task force, it shows that we have a serious challenge in terms of availability and affordability of mental health treatment. So now with the current challenge, how many people are able to afford a therapy session? The cheapest you can get currently is 2,500. So how many people are able to afford minimum 3 sessions in this time? Somebody is thinking about food, rent, school fees, and all that kind of stuff. So now people cannot even afford that. So if they cannot afford that, they will do, okay, let me just take one for the road, at least to silence the stress. So there's a lot that is happening currently. And therefore, when all this is happening, they say, okay, let me call it off, which is not a good thing.
Can I add 2 things? Because I like what you said. A few weeks ago, we did a topic about femicide. And our thought pattern was it's just criminality. And criminality also increases with hard economic times.
Yes.
And I think that ties in with what you're saying about harsh economic times causing people to take their own lives.
Yes.
Another thing I want to add is it possible that also social media used to say...
Oh, yes.
The word, it's called memetics, where...
Not even memetics. Social media, I think, social media has brought about a big mental issue even among children because of that comparison. You're looking at its form of fear of missing out. First of all, I want to be where these guys are. Another thing, I see someone has the latest car. I see someone has the latest clothes. I want that. I don't have it. That brings stress. Whether or not we like to admit it, that it's a stressor. It's a stress factor. So you find, like even right now in these tough economic times, there are guys who we were in school with who are doing really well. Yeah. And there are guys who were in school with who are doing really, really poorly. So someone sees that, and it compounds already. Now you even start feeling like a failure on top of the problems you have. Because you're looking at your peer, you're seeing just how well they're doing, and it's like,
Actually, when I was saying
you were talking about mimetics. Mimetics are not about social media.
No, let me explain. When you see something happening in society, you think it's a wave. It's like when I was depressed, I will see someone has taken their own life, and it also affects me. If that person could not save himself, what about me?
Actually, there's a professional term for that.
Yeah.
We call it suicidal contagion.
That's that thing.
Suicidal contagion, where somebody has done this, then the other person said, "By the way, actually, I'm going through the same thing. Let me also take the same route." So even
okay.
That's why even in terms of media, we tell people one of the aspects of to train media personality is that don't mention how someone did the suicide. Just say so and so died by suicide.
Yes.
Don't give details because people now copycat that. So there's suicidal contagion, where people now start kind of, this has happened, also let me take that direction. Let me take that direction.
Yeah.
And so it kind of, we mimic or we follow, we are triggered, and it becomes a cycle.
Yes.
When things now go down, everybody say, no, I should not follow this direction. I should not join that statistics.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect as well.
Okay. I guess also, I will admit that, as I said earlier, I'm not really conversant with depression or, self-deletion ideation. So for me, when you bring up something like that, my mind immediately goes to a different direction.
Yeah.
So what you're saying clearly ties into what the professional was.
Like I can guarantee you something. People who are going through depression and suicidal ideation, when this thing happened with this popular actor and they found out it was that, it has affected them. I can guarantee.
Well, we don't know. It's all rumors and allegations.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, it's rumors and allegations, but anything that happens and it's very well covered by the media, and people find out it was someone took their own life, it will affect people who are going through that, because again, there's a hopeless factor about it. And this actually ties into the next question in personal experiences with the depression, and I'll give mine very short and sweet. When I went through it, I could not, going to sleep was a big problem, waking up was a big problem. Going out with people was a big problem because I feared I was going to take my own life. And the worst aspect for me with it was, like I give my colleagues this example. When I was at 0, I think that's a normal human brain. You're at 0 normally. When you're happy, you go maybe to +10. When you're sad, maybe you go to -5 or -10. But normally you're at 0. With depression, from my experience was, I went from 0 to -50.
Oh.
Yes. Then the worst part about it, and this is why I tell people I am very empathetic about people who go through it. One day you'll have a good day and you go to -40. You're not even -0. You're not at 0 now. You're at minus. But a good day is -40. You're not even back to where you are at normal. And the problem with it is you try your own techniques to get out of it, and you find you've gone to that -40 and you pray you will stay at -40. And one day you get to -100. And the reason why that is a big problem is you've gone to a worse place than you were. So you've lost more hope than you had. You're like, will this thing ever end? Then when you're at -100, you have a good day, you go to -70. And you want to be at -70. Human beings can survive at a bad place as long as it's there forever. We know how to survive. But the problem is when you have no hope, it'll keep on getting worse. That is what I experienced, and that was the worst part for me. That keeping on, it's like that seesaw, it's like a yo-yo. You're never sure what will happen tomorrow. That's why you're scared about sleeping and waking up. What will tomorrow bring for me? That was my experience.
I mean, like I said, I can't really speak about depressive thoughts. I can't really speak about any ideation. Andre, you know this because we used to work together. I had created a company or a company that became an arm of a company. I had a boss who has never created anything. His strength was in PR. And then the guy's boss also. So those two would give me a lot of grief, a lot of stress. But I always knew. And like you're saying, we all have coping mechanisms. Mine was, I turned to sex and alcohol, drugs and partying. And mine, I always knew was, it's stress. So Friday comes, let loose, have fun. Sunday comes and you're just like, ugh. So I'd sleep really well on Friday night, or if I go out, come back home with someone, sleep really well on Saturday, sleep through some of Sunday, go out clubbing, come back, sleep again. When it comes to Sunday evening, then again, because I know I have to meet these same clowns, then I'd have a problem. That was when I'd have a problem. Yeah.
Well, I went through depression between 2017 April to around June, July. And interestingly to me, it was because of wrongful termination. Guess what? I was terminated because of being an admin of WhatsApp group. Guy, brother, you may laugh, but that's the reality.
That is crazy.
If
That is
somebody just
crazy.
decides that they want to do away with you,
That's crazy.
they will find all possible reasons.
Yes.
That is true.
That's
That's
very
my
true.
experience as well.
They will
That
find
is true.
all the reasons because they looked at my file. This guy has never been absent for 7 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
This guy has never been drunk, has never stolen anything. So they look for any slight thing. So they say this guy is an admin of a WhatsApp group, and the junior staff talk negative about the company. So we are going
that
to,
group,
to challenge him that you don't control this group.
That is ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. So when I had a case with them, I told guys, what you have done is bullshit. Sorry for using that word.
Yeah, it's fine.
But the idea is, I want the case, but it caused a serious depression because I wanted, where do I begin? But interesting, that was the beginning of this new Isaac that you see today.
So you came out of it a better person. Which
Oh,
is sad,
yes.
which is, it's not the way you want to go, but
You know, when life gives you lemon,
You make
we
lemonade.
say make lemonade. So I made lemonade out of it.
yeah.
Wow.
So even this brings us to how do you deal with the most effective ways of remedying depression or dealing with it?
All right.
This is to you now.
Right. So dealing with the depression, or how do I help people?
Yes.
Number one, there is need for assessment. When somebody presents with symptoms of depression, listening to their story is one thing. Then after
Actually,
that,
before I'm sorry. There's something I've realized. There's something we have to talk about before you go there, because that is wrapping up. Discuss a link between a low testosterone and depression before you give.
Well,
That's the one
solution.
who actually that I feel outside of external factors, that's probably the biggest issue that would cause depression. When your testosterone is low as a man, either, because of drug consumption, because you're fat, because being fat actually messes with your endocrine system.
yes.
So that's the one where I'm just like, this is a very good candidate for.
Well, actually, that is one of the causes of depression among older men, because of the fact that low testosterone will bring the aspect of low libido, erectile dysfunction, somebody will have symptoms like irritable, just feeling like lazy, not masculine and active as enough. And so this may lead to depression. So there's a great correlation about that. At the same time, the depression may also lead to the same. So they are like cousins. So somebody, because of maybe age or illness like high blood pressure or diabetes, because actually one of the casualties of diabetes is ED, erectile dysfunction.
Yes.
Now, when that happens, that will knock a man. And as a man, that is your pride. So when that is not happening, you cannot be able to service or do such a business. You'll be like, hey, what kind of a man? Yani demu yako anakuliwa na mtu
Are you
mwingine.
a man anymore?
Are you not a man anymore?
Yes.
So that is one of the most depressing aspects in men.
Yeah.
So that kind of a thing is a serious problem. So there is a great correlation between low testosterone and depression.
Understood.
Yeah.
And the final question, the combination, because I believe they are nearly similar. It is the most effective ways to remedy depression, and how do you help a depressed man?
Good.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that we do is, first of all, if you notice that you have these symptoms, then we encourage you to seek help. If you notice also somebody seems to be depressed, and encourage this person to seek help.
Yeah.
Now, when this person comes to us as a therapist, number one, of course, I'll listen to the story and say, I've been having this, and having this. All this is what we call presenting problems, not the underlying problem.
Okay.
So listen to the story. Oh, when did you start having this problem of irritability or lack of appetite, or maybe fighting with people or too much drinking? Nowadays I'm drinking too much. I'm actually, my boss is having a problem with me. So, what is happening? So you go back and realize, something happened. Things are not working. There's a lot of stress at home. There's a toxic workplace. Then there's a toxic person next to you. Somebody said it's good to have not just the woman in the bed, but the woman in your heart. If the person you are having in the bed is not the person you're having in the heart, that's another thing, but that's a topic of another day. Anyway, so back to the issue. So when this person comes, I listen to the story, then we do an assessment.
Okay.
So when we do the assessment and see, okay, this is a level of depression. Then at extreme levels, like severe and extreme depression, this person needs to be seen by a psychiatrist.
Okay.
Remember, I'm a psychologist. I'm a psychotherapist.
Yes.
So the psychiatrist will give medication. In Kenya, psychology, you're not allowed to give medication.
Okay.
So for me, I'll look at ways of dealing with this. For example, we'll look at exercises. Physical exercises are good because they release what we call the dopamine,
Yes.
the feel-good hormone.
Yes.
So physical exercise. Number 2, listen to your story. Actually, talking about it, that's what I call catharsis.
Yeah.
You are venting. In layman, we say even a problem shared is a problem halfway solved.
Yes.
So when you talk about it and you have someone to listen to, that's a good thing. So listening to it is also a good thing. Number 3, we look at what is the cause. For example, if the issue is maybe finances, okay, what ways can you make an extra shilling? Or if it's a loan, is there maybe they can defer this, they can delay this? Is there a way that you can find some support? If it's maybe something happening at home, is there a way that you can improve your support system? And maybe your relative, your friend can come in and say, guy, our brother is not doing well. To change bana. We don't have to wait until, by the way, sio vizuri, don't wait until somebody has died so that you can show up and say, oh guys, let's make t-shirts, let's do this, all this. Guy, this gentleman is suffering. Find something for him to do. So that support system is very critical.
Okay.
So we look at different approaches to solve the real problem, because depression on its own has been caused by something. So we have to look at what has caused this. So that is very critical. But before we get to even to finish up the show, I need to talk about how do we keep even ourselves at a level that we will not be depressed. What I call now mental fitness.
Okay.
I know we are working so much so that you can have a very physical, very mask like this guy is so well built up. Right? This is very good physically.
Yes.
But what about mentally?
Yeah.
So it's good to mention that aspect. That number one of the great things that I wish to encourage men is have impossible foremen. I call it the foreman that will carry you. Do you have people that you can go to? You know, sometimes shift happens and the ever is silent.
Yes.
You know what that means?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Shift happens, the ever is silent.
Yes.
So when that word that we don't know how to say it,
Yes.
it remains that. Do you have someone that you can call? Like I remember that time, a friend of mine who saved me, I will mention his name here, Dr. Modosi. That time he was doing his master's in Germany. We talked on message and said, hey, what's happening? And that gentleman helped me. He encouraged me, he gave an idea. I was able to publish my book, and that book has given me platforms that I've never had shared before. So that for men, people that you can carry you. Number 2, making therapy something real. Let's embrace therapy. In the developed world, utasikia wazee wakichapa stories, say, guy, by the way, I can't be available. This time I will be having a therapy session.
Yes.
But in Africa, we can't talk about that.
Yeah.
It's like, you're talking about therapy before people. Let's make it okay. Let's make it normal to go for therapy. Then the other aspect is physical exercises. Guys, it's good when you exercise. The other aspect is let's minimize 1 or 2 for the road. But drugs will worsen the situation. Will not solve the problem, but it will worsen the situation.
Over a long time.
After a long time, the long-term effect.
Yeah.
There's something that you mentioned that is very important. When it comes to social media, there's a lot of what we call comparison and competition.
Yeah.
You just post something and you see people commenting and liking and all that. You feel like, this guy is doing so well. And you start now downgrading yourself. Or so-and-so is driving this big car and you're not able to do that. Don't compare. Don't compare yourself with someone else, but compare with your own potential. Say, guy, I'm able to do this. Let me put myself up there and do something better.
Can I quickly just add something? My own thing, how I survived it, and I thank God for it. It's for me, I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, I'm saved.
Nice.
For me, that relationship with Christ saved me. I don't know if people use that solution, but that was my solution. I believe some people have to also have a spiritual relationship with God.
Actually, professionally, we're looking at statistics. We have found that spirituality
Yes.
is a factor to improve your mental health.
So
The director will have that study. I was also going to talk about a study that found that. So he'll have that up.
I think we have done with the show.
The very heavy topic.
Yes, a very heavy topic. We have tried to be quick and we have meat of the show. What we'll do, I think we'll have to put your book on when we publish a episode.
Even we'll have
Yes.
your contacts
Yes.
in
Yeah.
everywhere that we publish this. So
That's good.
Let, like, if anyone watches this and they need to reach out, especially men wanting to talk out to a man. Yeah.
Call.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
So you close it out.
All right, guys, this has been a very heavy topic. We didn't have a lot of time to discuss everything, but we have basically covered, as Ola said, the meat of everything. Yeah, we'll have further conversations as we go along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cheers, guys.